Disappear, I'm your eraser. Ain't the cut just like a razor. Murder business, world my blazer. I got all the boys on me. I got all the lines on ring. Knocking dead, turning heads. I got all the eyes on me. Pretty face, 걸어 들어와. 유행 선두자. 원하지만 못하잖아. 애가 타잖아. You like whoa, 달리 you도 gold. 난 알지, I know. 준비해, cause I like the ball. 멈추지 않아. 말할래, 그게 like a bag. 그거 말고 bye. 믿어봐, 그만큼 크게. 고 high 100% 덤비지 못해 죽여주잖아 나는 boss 간지 with the sauce 원하면 줄게 I'm doing damage when that's how I planned it I do what I want when I say 모두 날 따라해 난 끝내주잖아 To live on the edge of insane Coming at you loud real real world Here to light it up set the world on fire Sorry, I'm so bad. Only took a minute for me to get what you had. Sorry for the bad news, no it makes you sad. Live for a minute, baby, you should pack your bags. Way that I look should be breaking the law. If I don't got it, I take what I want. My circle small like a round of applause. You know that I love the sound of applause. You know I mean everything that I said. When you see me come and get out of the way. Back in the sleigh, back and I'm better and ready to stay. I'm doing damage when just how I planned it. I do what I want when I say. 모두 날 따라해 난 끝내주잖아 To live on the edge of insane It's crazy Sorry not sorry for being the best 언제든지 내가 좀 mad Look at the gold all on my chest Look at the gold call it a flex
你可以逃，但那无济于事。
启动这波决定直接抱团，镇压还剩最后的几秒钟。
你们想阻止我吗？我觉得你们不行。
远古龙还有5秒钟，被上了绝招了，完了，咱就被秒了。远古龙最后的3秒。
你很强，但我更强。
你的软弱让我厌倦。
防卫战啊，连续
又 Q 过16级
感觉这波可能又有机会单杀，
但是一个人要面对2个人。1
打2有没有操作空间？祁红玄试了个大护盾，闪电往回拉，闪现头子来了，志远后续再接上接力棒，
你无处可逃，你会美不胜收。
两名圣袭开起来，这位置两边一波乱战，马马这个位置还不错，但青也在出后面弹进来，这波老爹要赢了的感觉。狼自己在前面，还没倒，睡眠气泡睡到了，交闪这个位置能走吗？一个 Q 闪现 Q 没有 Q 到，
楼肯还在追，楼肯火炮的一枪命中了 ，EZ 还想拉，
闪现撞墙
了。
艺术值得为之痛苦。
丢视野了，
走上来没有视
野。
野，但是一枪加一个漫无手雷，回身再给一波了。
这就是你的谢幕。
想要一个吻。每个微笑都是即将被撕裂的嘴角。
哎，又遇到了哇！痛了吧？哎，但这波有机会，
反打才一丝血，哇，被他逃掉了。
没关系，宝贝儿，谁都有发挥不好的时候。
我不会受到制约的。
看到了，可以打了，一炮打到苏姆，还是应该打天神。
这要归我支配。
哎，直接，还打了，被秒了，直接被秒掉。我这波传的看得太过分了。战斗的绝境之下，想象体会。来，咱原单要被秒。也被秒了。
他们甚至近不了身。
Don't have to wait, you know my name. Sunshine and rain, some things don't change. Thinking about the days we were younger, innocent in our ways. We were dumb, girl. But nothing really mattered. I could always count on you. Your touch will leave me breathless. Let me give it back to you. 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 Don't have to wait. You know my name. Sunshine and rain. Some things don't change. Thinking about the days we were young, girl. Innocent in our ways. We were dumb, girl. We were dumb, girl. But nothing really mattered.
天堂与地狱仅有一步之遥，而这张通往世界赛的门票是他们整个赛季努力的最好证明。站在峡谷两侧的选手们不必在意昔日的成败，此战谁能笑到最后，唯有孤注一掷才能所向无前。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mercedes-Benz Arena. We are here for the final day of 2020 LPL, the last day of our World's Regional Qualifiers. My name is Munchballs. I'm joined by Lyric on the desk today. Welcome to the desk once more, my friend. How are you feeling this morning?
Man, after yesterday, how can you not be feeling hype? We get IG in the regional finals, I'm sorry. That always spells out potentially 5 games.
And we also have a rematch from earlier on in playoffs as well. So we'll get into all of that, and let's start off by looking at our bracket of where we are and where we have been across the course of the last few days, because we started things off, Lyric, feels like a long time ago now, with Top Esports against JDG, and it was Top Esports that came out on top of the pile.
The funny thing is that was only a few days ago, but of course, both of those teams securing their world spots when they got to finals. Sooning, though, dominantly crushing LGD on the first day of regionals.
I just want to say, I expected it. It was exactly what I wanted to happen, and it is exactly what happened. Sooning, I'm so proud, guys. But we then went on to IG vs FPX yesterday. FPX falling short at the final hurdle. IG, I don't know how they got away with that series. I don't know how they always seem to get away with it, but they are now coming into our lower bracket. You see LGD against IG, and this best of 5 will decide who our final world seed will be.
Going to be really important. A ton of experience on both sides of this matchup. And honestly, I don't know how this one can go. LGD, though, you know, they had a bit of soul searching to do, so it's going to be nice to see if they found some new momentum.
And I just want to reiterate that this is for the 4th seed at the World Championship. So we have IG and LGD, 2 legendary LPL teams, fighting for a spot in World's play-ins. And I have to say, with Shie in the mid lane, with Rookie in the mid lane, with the Shy in the top lane, whoever ends up in this group of play-ins, I'm so sorry. That is going to be so rough.
You either are facing Rookie in the Shy or Peanut. I mean, there's no good choices here.
Yeah, that is going to be rough. And speaking of worlds, let's take a look at some of the regions around the world and who has qualified so far, because we are starting to fill out our world's roster. Obviously, here at the LPL, we'll be deciding our 4th team today. LEC already have the 4 teams. They're just mixing up the seeding.
It's really nice, too, because it's a nice mix of veteran and rookie talent coming in. Of course, Mad Lions and Rogue making it this year. Then for LCS, we get a bit of old guard. TSM back there, Team Liquid, but FlyQuest, a nice new organization at Worlds.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, Cloud9, that is a heartbreaking defeat for them after how they started this year.
Who
off for them to
expected
not make it to Worlds. It's a really, really rough story for them. Also, some of the minor regions as well. Machi is there. Lyric, for anyone that doesn't know, Lyric actually coached Machi for a couple of years, so maybe you can take some of the credit for that
You know,
one.
maybe I potentially built that foundation up, but of course we have those 2 teams coming from PCS. Legacy over in the OPL, winning the split once again. Team Flash from Vietnam. And Rainbow 7 reverse sweeping all nights this morning. We have a lot of exciting teams at Worlds.
We certainly do. I cannot wait to see how it's all going to pan out once we get to the Worlds group stage, once we get to play-ins as well, to see what these teams actually look like on the world stage, because especially when we look at LCS, teams like FlyQuest, I think a few people weren't necessarily expecting to make it to the World Championship, and they have definitely upset the apple cart there. Same story with like Mad Lions against Schalke. Who knew which team was going to make it through? Mad Lions come out at the end, but Schalke was a team that a lot of people were expecting to make that late surge.
With Gilius coming in, having those strong performances, you know, being the spiritual successor to our main man, PP God. It's quite heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. I have to say, I'm happy the Mad Lions made it. My boy Kazi from EU Masters to the World Championship.
I do want to say,
in a year, that's so impressive.
Sooning versus Mad Lions. It's what we all want. We all want the Hakuna Matata playing.
I'm so excited for if that happens. Scar against Mufasa, but that's a conversation for another time. We'll get onto that one later. But I do just want to quickly mention the fact that we've got a bit of deja vu going on. We already alluded to it earlier. This is going to be a rematch here, and last time around, despite expectations, LGD got a 3-0 against IG.
We saw great performances coming in, especially from Shie and Peanut. A lot of that, to me, stems down to draft, where we saw in the first 2 games, they got the Twisted Fate and the Nidalee. Peanut's spears just do not miss.
Yeah, Peanut is a monster when he can get things like the Nidalee in the jungle. When he can control the map, I think is the most important thing. And Nidalee, it's like the perfect champion for controlling the map.
He's looked exceptional on it all split long, and we saw even counter pick top was so important in that series. When you have the Shy on one side of the Rift, it always is going to be massive. But I mean, after seeing yesterday's games, I feel like this series is going to have a bit of a new flair.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a different version of IG, and I mean, let's just take a moment to talk about what on earth happened yesterday, because, I mean, you guys at home already know this one. The Shy yesterday, he was a controversial player. Like, he had a game where he went 1-10 on Kennen, and he was laughing while he did it, and then comes back and wins the series. How is that allowed?
I mean, someone in the IG organization, whether it was Coach Chris or Rookie, clearly to sit down with him and said, hey, man, ready for Ornn? The surprising thing was, in those wins, he was so stone-faced. It didn't faze him. I was like, oh, you know, I'm just playing Ornn.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is he wasn't just playing Ornn. Like, when you see people play Ornn, you expect them to be the tanky frontline. You expect it to be a really good hard engage with the ultimate. That's kind of the expectation of Ornn. When this Shy plays Ornn, he really embodies that Ornn assassin expectation where he gets into the backline and is fighting the AD carry, is fighting the support.
Yeah, having 1v2s, having solo kills on the Ornn. Interesting performance coming out from him, but
yeah.
That's always been the story of IG, right? Which the Shy shows up. It feels like it's consistently the same, the Shy, but how can the enemy team punish is always the question.
That will be the question. On the other side of the board as well, we've got LGD, and the big question mark to me is just which version of this team is going to show up, because it feels like there isn't just two versions. It feels like there's a great many versions of this team, from what we saw in the regular split to what we've seen against Suning to what we've seen against IG. Like, this is a team that 3-0'd IG in comfortable fashion and then got crushed twice in a row by Suning. Like, in my brain, Suning doesn't necessarily sit above IG in that way, but it's such a dominant victory on either side that it doesn't seem to add up, Lyric.
They are a weird team where they've been very reliant on the early game advantages that Peanut can find them, but still their mid-late game transition isn't that good, so they've actually thrown quite a lot of late game leads. We actually saw it in the first game against Suning in that first qualifying match, and they're a team that feels very draft dependent, right? In a lot of the games against W and IG, we saw the Twisted Fate first pick every game. We got to see so much in Italy coming out, but when these tools are taken away from them, they just don't look like the same team.
Yeah, it can get really rough for LGD when they're not on the right picks, and it feels like draft is going to be a big influence across the course of this series, which can be said for IG as well, because IG, as we saw on our screen, sometimes don't have the best drafts that you could maybe expect out of them. But let's break down the Suning series a little bit more with LGD and last game's debacle, essentially, because this is twice in a row now. They lost in the third place match, and then they lost in the regional final as well. LGD clearly finding some serious flaws when they were going up against Suning.
A big thing for me has been about how other teams can punish that mid-jungle, and we saw Suning doing quite a good job of that. They'd consistently draft the winning mid-lane matchup and also have a strong early dueling jungler. It would consistently translate into invades in Peanut's jungle. We even saw certain games where he was falling 20, 30 CS behind, not able to impact the map.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key things, is this jungle difference that we saw. Not necessarily jungle difference in terms of ability to play, but SOFM playing around his team so beautifully on the utility Lee Sin.
And he would do a great job at exploiting these mid and late game advantages that we talked about, to where here we see LGD going down for a dragon, losing 2 turrets for 2 Suning on the opposite side, and that's been one of LGD's glaring flaws. If Shie and Peanut can't get them ahead, they go into this 20-minute mark quite confused.
And it has to be said that the bottom side from LGD as well, Kramer and Mark, they have had some series that they look exceptional. Other series, they feel completely invisible.
To me, that also went down to draft. When they had those winning matchups against IG, we saw Mark consistently able to get out onto the map. But against Suning, they weren't able to do that. They kept drafting things like the Ezreal. Suning would have the winning bot lanes. Mark was restricted. Sword Art was the one moving. And they weren't able to find the impact they needed.
And it feels like Lunxing quite often does get left alone in the top side, as you can see on your screen here. But let's be honest, that's what Lunxing likes. This is the reputation Lunxing has. This is the kind of player that he is realistically.
He's really built his career playing like this ever since RNG. You can even see in some of his interviews that he's comfortable playing like this. He feels like it's the best way to play the game, playing around mid-jungle in the bot. And it does feel like today it's going to be about how well he can absorb pressure from the Shy. But at the same time, when you have a pretty restricted champion pool, things like the Ornn, the Renekton, the Volibear, and the Shy is willing to pick absolutely anything, bring out the Quinn, bring out the Lucian, I feel like Longxing's going to be in for a rough day.
I think that's the big question to me, is like when we have things like the Quinn and the Lucian up in the top side. But yesterday those carries didn't work out for the Shy. It was the Ornn that came through that actually turned things around. So maybe Ornn could become a massive contested pick. One thing I do know, though, when we talk about the picks, is that the nut has cracked. Peanut, please, no more Skarner in the jungle. We can't deal with any more Skarner in the jungle. It's just not meant to be.
it's just not working here in the LPL. We've seen it a few times, whether it's from people like Suning have picked it up themselves, obviously LGD being the other big ones, but Peanut is a carry jungler. He thrives on things like the Nidalee. He thrives on things like the Kindred. We want to see him have strong laners, be able to play out this carry style, and really impact the map, where Skarner's much slower, right? You need to get off your 2 full clears, get that level 6 mark, and then try to impact the map. But even then, we have a lot of mobility on the Rift right now. We have a lot of people who run things like Spellbook. They can easily take that cleanse. Doesn't feel like a good time for Skarner.
And even then, even outside of cleanses and whatnot, you can just pay the Skarner tax, right? 1,300 gold by QSS. Suddenly, Skarner not so terrifying in that jungle. You won't be able to find the same pick.
It's a suppress. You actually do need the QSS regardless. But even going back to the interview we had with Karsa the other day, he got asked about the Skarner pick. He's like, it's just not a good champion. I don't know why people are playing it right now. It just makes no sense. I mean, this guy just won the split.
Yeah.
So I trust his opinion.
Yep, I can get behind that. I also don't know why Skarner is being played. Let's take a look at the other side of the board, though, because IG yesterday, man, they cannot keep getting away with this. The Shy going 1-10 on Kennen, and they're winning out the series anyway. How do they do it, Lyric? I don't understand this team at all.
It starts with a guy named Rookie, and also pairs along with a guy named Ning. We've seen their mid-jungle 2v2 be quite strong. Rookie especially has had one of the best years of his career, which is really strange to say because...
That's a big statement,
Exactly. This guy's had a lot of good years. Won Worlds in 2018, obviously, but we saw a lot of good performances yesterday, especially on the Zoe. Ning coming in with the Graves, tons of outplays, being able to link up with Rookie quite well, and spread that pressure across the map, and we saw it work best when it would lead towards bot side, and even Puff and Baolan having some solid performances.
Yeah, we've got some highlights of the games yesterday as well for you guys, and Baolan very regularly being the catalyst to start the plays off for IG.
He was always looking for the hook, whether it was good or bad, a lot of times mixed, but he would find the engages that they needed. It would get Rookie onto the enemy carries of FPX, and it always led to a lot of these good team fights, and even Ning, as we highlighted, on the Graves, having such a stellar performance.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming out from Ning, and it has to be said, this was a team filled with inconsistency yesterday, but it felt like towards the latter half of the series, they figured out what was going wrong earlier on, and they managed to find the way to answer what FPX were bringing to the table.
It also goes back to what you said that later on they realized, hey, we're going to put the Shy on Ornn. We're going to play from mid-jungle to bot side. We saw Puff especially had a lot of games where he was flashing forward aggressively. He was stepping up, and that was always the Puff that we asked ourselves, where is this guy? Because when he plays like that, he does look like an exceptional AD carry.
Yeah, and we kept on seeing the Senna in the series as well, and I feel like the Senna, we saw it yesterday in LEC, looked amazing, looks really, really strong. Here in the LPL, games end too fast. Senna, I'm not convinced by the pick. We'll see if that's going to continue to come out today between these two teams, but I'm thinking maybe just step away from that style of play. I will say, though, in the top side, we also saw a bit of a change in picks, and it was a bit of an ordeal that we had to deal with because the Shy changed his tact entirely, moved away from the carries, and once he's on a tank, apparently just the best top in the world.
You know, in that picture you've had of him, that grin just fits so perfectly because, I mean, the Shy must come out of the game like that and be like, hey, I just got carried, and it felt amazing. You did highlight earlier, he's had some good moments. He was 1v2ing in a lot of these team fights. I remember Game 4, he got up to 500 armor. Even the last game, facing pretty much a full AD composition against FPX, he was having the best time.
Yeah, there was, honestly, when we talk about armor, I'm just having flashbacks to the Mal fight that we saw earlier in the tournament with the Mountain Soul. That was something. But yeah, yesterday we saw the Shy on Ornn. Looked amazing, and it just makes you think, surely today, when IG are coming up against a team that has 3-0'd them most recently, surely IG have to just focus on putting the Shy on something that can play defensively, forget the carries in the top lane, let Rookie be the carry.
The thing, too, is you don't expect LGD to play around top, despite them doing it sometimes with things like Camille Galio, but even if they do, it's still Longxing. I don't feel like you need to feel too worried. If you can set Kramer and Markpine on the bot side, get Puff and Baolan ahead, I do believe that's the winning formula today.
So I want to open up the conversation of our jungle specifically here, and most importantly Peanut, because I feel like across the course of this entire year, Peanut has been on LGD, and he has been the driving force for this team. Like, I don't think that's a controversial statement to make no matter what. How do you feel about Peanut coming into today? Because he's up against Ning, and that might be a bit more of a difficult opponent than he's had to deal with recently.
I have mixed feelings on Peanut because he's had a lot of great performances, but they feel so heavily dependent on their laners and how well they can fare, right? That's always jungle in a nutshell. Do you have the pryos to play around? Do you have the setup in lanes to be able to gank? And a lot of the time he doesn't. And I feel like it'll be the same today. Drafting against IG is quite hard. Their champion pools are massive. I mean, they're willing to pull out absolutely anything, even if it isn't necessarily the best team comp to deal with. But we even saw yesterday where Rookie constantly had push in the mid lane, constantly had those winning matchups. Yeah. And if you have that as a jungler where your mid laner is constantly under turret, it is so hard to play the game. So,
I mean, you talk about the fact that IG can be difficult to draft against. It's kind of a two-sided coin, right? Because sometimes they are draft geniuses, it feels like. The champion pools are so deep, they can go in so many different directions. But game 1 of the series, I don't know, man. IG, they were opting into red side, which did not seem to want to work for them yesterday. Like, it just felt like draft-wise, everything was going wrong at the start of the series.
And I mean, that's typical IG, right? They'll come in, they'll just try to get a lot of their comfort picks. So a lot of times we see the Orianna Jaces come out, and it's just blind. They don't actually care what they're playing into. And they've also come out and said in a lot of their content, which actually have English subs on YouTube, they'll be like, hey, it's about us playing our own game, us playing our own style. But obviously, if you're just focused inward, that will lead to a lot of losing drafts.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? But I will say I'm a little curious if something like the Jace is going to come out. Because the Jace has been, in my opinion, that has been the signature pick for the Shy across the course of this year. So regularly, we see it, not even on the red side. On the blue side, the Shy is happy to blind pick that Jace, and we've seen it to mixed success. Like, let's bear in mind, this guy has the most deaths in the LPL this split. And a lot of that has been on this Jace when he finds an opportunity to try and bully the lane. He will just push in. He will try and make the play. He will try and get the kills. But so many teams are more than happy to just punish that.
And to me, that's another reason why champions like Twisted Fate and Galio can be so crucial in this series, because if the Shy does get on something like the Jace and then he has those global tools, he's not ever going to be able to play out his laning phase. Sure, maybe the first few levels will be fine, but teams have publicly stated they know how to punish IG. They know to play towards the top side. We saw LGD do it, that actually all 3 games, they were giving counter pick too long Xing, and they were playing around top. So for IG, it's going to be about going off of what they learned in Game 4 and 5 yesterday and staying consistent with it.
We'll see if that's going to happen, but I do want to talk about LGD a little bit here as well and move towards the bottom side of the map, because one of the players that has impressed me the most across not just this split, but across the whole year is Mark has stepped up in a big, big way. When you look at LGD, it's very easy to look across that roster and say, hey, this is all world's level talent. These guys have all been here before. These guys have all won championships before. But when you look at Mark, he hasn't. He was on that DMO roster, or Sino Dragons at the time, that had the miracle run that looked incredible for the end of a split. And now he stepped onto LGD. He looked really shaky towards the start of the year, and now we got to playoffs. Mark has leveled up in a way that I've not seen before.
It's nice to see. They've done a nice job at playing around their bot lane, making sure they're able to get that push, and we've seen some 2v2 kills come out from them. They actually did 2v2 IG's bot lane in that quarterfinal matchup. And the thing that's impressed me the most about Mark is he's really unlocked himself from lane. He's been linking up with Peanut, getting into the enemy jungle. And in that series against IG, it felt like, to me, Mark was the catalyst for that success. It was never a mid-jungle 2v2. It was always a 3v2 with Mark there first. And it'll be so crucial to see him keep that performance today if LGD are going to take a win.
And it's such an interesting dynamic as well that you mentioned how Mark linking up with Peanut in the jungle, because that's exactly what we talk about when Baolan comes back into the roster for IG, which he has been doing recently. We have seen Baolan as the priority support for IG. And when we talk about Baolan, it's almost exclusively in conjunction with Ning. We always talk about that jungle support duo and how they play the map. So I'm curious what you think about that support matchup and who maybe has the upper hand when it comes to working with the jungle.
To me, I'd say Mark is much more tempered with his aggression. So him and Peanut are going to take it slow. They're going to get vision in the enemy jungle. They're not going to pull the trigger too quickly to where Baolan, if he sees an enemy and he's on Thresh or Nautilus, the hook is coming out.
He's going to go for it. Well, we're going to go for it as well because the players are ready to get onto the stage. So I'll pass it to Wendy for our translation of our player intros.
So let's welcome 2 teams of today, LGD Gaming and Invictus Gaming. Let's welcome LGD and IG. For our top lane matchup, LGD launching, IG the Shy. Rumbling in the jungle, LGD Peanut, IG Ning. Holding down main lane, LGD Xie, IG Rookie. For the bot lane matchup, LGD Kramer, IG Pop. Forward supports, LGD Mark, IG Baolan. The players are set and the flames of battle are alight. I hope the two teams fight until the very end without leaving any regrets. Now, the third day of 2020 World Championship Regional Qualifiers begin.
All right, our players are on the stage, which means it's about time that we start to get ready for this series to kick off. And I have to say, Lyric, I'm excited for this one. I feel like IG, what they showed yesterday in the good games, should be enough for them to actually stand a chance against LGD, especially considering I felt like they were the favorites the first time they faced LGD, and then they got 3-0'd.
I mean, it's a scary thing that, you know, maybe we'll touch a bit more later on, but IG's strength obviously correlates with the amount of disbelief in them, so... But overall, they should be the favorite coming into today.
We'll come back to that topic as well, but first off, let's talk about... We already mentioned the jungle and support duos, but most importantly, it's the mid-jungle duos that are really going to define this series. Every time we talk about IG, it's always Rookie and Ning, and the same can be said for LGD when it comes to Xie and Peanut.
The important thing here is that LGD have relied so much on Xie and Peanut linking up, whether it's ganking in the mid lane or trying to set up for these bot lane plays. But they're facing what I see as the final bosses. Ning and Rookie have looked so well, pretty much all split long. Rookie, of course, has always been a top 2 mid laner. The interesting thing is their champions are so different. We saw Rookie bringing out things like the Nico yesterday, to where Xie is so reliant on the Twisted Fate. Ning as well was a heavy favorite of the Graves against FPX. But for Peanut, it's been all about Kindred in Italy.
And I have to say, when we're trying to select 2 champions to represent Rookie, it's so incredibly difficult. I think Nico will always have a spot in that conversation, but Rookie has played so many different champions across the years. Like, it's very difficult to lock Rookie into a style when it comes to mid laning.
Rookie can play absolutely anything, whether you need him to bully the lane on these 2 champions that we're showing here. He can blind pick the Orianna, play for the late game. The Azir as well has been a standout. He's played things like the Karma to facilitate the team, which maybe isn't exactly the style we want to see from Rookie, but he can do it.
If Puff performs like he did on some of the games yesterday, bear in mind Puff did get an MVP for himself yesterday, I'm just saying that it's possible for that to work out. I don't know if that's a strategy you want to rely on in your last best of 5 of the year if you don't win this one. Let's bear in mind, this is the last series of the entire LPL for the year. This is the last series for either of these teams to make it to the World Championship.
It's kind of heartbreaking when you say like that, the last series of the LPL, but you're right. This is also when we need to see, hey, do LGD or IG have any strategies left that they haven't shown yet?
That would be the big question. I don't know.
You wouldn't think so?
Especially for the side of IG, when they were so far down in the series. They were 2-1 down yesterday. I feel like you pull out all the stops at that point. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. LGD, they've had a little bit more time to prepare for this series. And I want to bring up the topic of conversation of priority picks here. Not just for those players in specific, but across the whole LPL and definitely across this series, there are a few picks that have been massive priorities. I mean, Renekton is the one that screams like priority to me, especially in the LPL.
Especially for the side of LGD. I want to keep an eye on this pick because we actually don't see the Shy play it. But LGD will love this pick, and it will open up a lot of interesting counters, as we've seen for the Shy, whether it's the Gnar, whether it's the Kennen, whether it's something like the Quinn he's pulled out many times. The unexpected one for a lot of people is the Ornn, which Longxing is loved all year long.
Yeah.
But now seeing yesterday, hey, this is actually going to be a really crucial pick for the Shy as well.
That's the crazy thing, is that might be a contested pick in this series. Like, you expect Longxing to just grab that for free every single time in these drafts, but maybe not anymore. On the other side of that graphic as well, you can see the Graves for the jungle, which is something that Peanut has fallen back on many, many times, but it's also just an exceptionally strong jungler.
We've actually seen Peanut stray away from it in playoffs, which breaks my heart to see, because when we see the 2 other picks down there, Zoe and Ashe, they set up for Graves so well. They have all the lockdown for all that upfront burst. Ning had an exceptional 2 games on it yesterday, actually, so I want to see Peanut get his hands on it once again. And then, I mean, Zoe and Ashe, we don't need to say anything. Zoe's been such a dominant force, and Ashe allowing all that bot lane priority.
And I think the most important thing about those last 2 picks as well is the fact that they can be blind picked on the blue side. You can just go for that as a first pick. It can really set you up for drafting in a way that doesn't give anything away with that first pick. The Ashe is just so good right now, gives you that form of engage. Zoe as well has so many good matchups, has so many ways to get out of the lane. And I think when we talk about that mid lane, getting out of that lane might just be the key factor, especially for the side of Xie.
That's what he needs to do, right? Because me and Hysterics talked about on our last desk segment that when you have Kramer on your team, you pay the Kramer tax. You need to get the gold on him. You need to get him ahead so he can be this big late game carry.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to pay the Kramer tax here today, or whether IG can put some pressure on, because we know when IG gets a lead, they do not play the game slowly. They will end a game real quick. And I do want to move the conversation forward, though, into our predictions, because we're getting ready to get into this one. And I will say, I decided not to predict either of the teams today. I'm predicting a 3-1 for Rookie, because, my God, yesterday, this poor man was living through a best-of-5 of Elo Hell.
I like it. I mean, I think it's the most reasonable prediction that we have. For me, I'm actually doing a favor to IG by predicting LGD 3-0. If I was able to predict more games for LGD, I would, but hey, LGD, you can do this.
The less faith you have in IG, the more likely they are to win, apparently. I will say, I feel like if you'd asked them, they probably would have put 5-0. They put Rookie's face instead of a team logo for me. I don't see why not. In the meantime, our casters for today, Hysterics and Dagda, both going IG 3-2 and 3-1, so maybe LGD fans are hard.
They didn't learn, but I feel like those are both reasonable predictions, especially the 3-1 for the side of IG, if we're going down like a serious analytical route to where, for IG, there's always going to be 1 or 2 games where they're just going to troll and draft. Like, it's going to just be too bad. It's going to be a serious draft for them, right? But they're going to like counterpick themselves in so many ways that the enemy team could win. But overall, they're also coming in with momentum to where LGD, I mean, they got massacred by Suning.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about LGD across the course of the last couple of weeks has been they have either massacred their opponents or they have been massacred. There seems to be no middle ground, which I have to wonder if that's more of a mentality thing than it is about actual gameplay.
It would be so strange because they have so many veterans, but I will say coming from team side, that doesn't really mean much. If you are an emotional person, it doesn't matter that you've played for 6 years. If you fall down and start falling behind, it's going to affect you the same ways it would a rookie player.
Which is kind of hilarious to look at as well, because when we talk about mentality, when you look at what happened yesterday, IG definitely have a jovial mentality, even when they're running it down in some of our games. We'll have to see how it's going to pan out across the course of today, though. As you can see, players getting ready on the stage to jump into our first draft. So, Lyric, I want to ask you, what are you expecting when we get into the first draft? What are you expecting to be the picks that might sway the series here?
If IG banned Twisted Fate in Italy, I think everything should be good. The other pick to watch is who gets this Ashe, who's able to guarantee that bot prio, assuming Caitlyn's banned.
I'm really curious if we see more of the Jhin coming through today as well. The Jhin has been incredibly high priority overall in the last couple of weeks of LPL, but yesterday, Senna kind of pushed Jhin off of the pedestal.
It makes sense in theory for IG because, right, it's a lot more about playing for your soul lanes. You have that ultimate to follow up, but like you pointed out, the tempo of our games in LPL is just way too fast. We outpace the Senna, and I'd really like if we didn't see today, but LGD also, I would say, has been a bit of a slower team in their recent series, so it could potentially work, but I'm with you, Munchables. Give me the Jhin.
I just want to see if something like the Twisted Fate does come through from the side of LGD, I want to see them up the pace, because I feel like that has been when they've looked strongest, when they can get out onto the map, start snowballing in the side lanes, and start to build a lead early, get Kramer some time, cause distractions elsewhere on the map while Kramer just gets himself some turret plates, and then in the mid-game, fight for those dragons, fight for those barons, and win through that.
LGD have also been, I'd say, one of the most consistent teams at playing through a 1-3-1 or a hard 1-4, being able to get that side lane pressure, chip down a bit of turrets, and then get the numbers advantage on the collapse. So a pick like that or a pick like a Galio can definitely do wonders for the side of LGD. But we saw yesterday, IG actually don't care about Galio at all.
Yeah, I mean, we saw they were quite happy for Doing B to play Galio. I think they banned it one of the games, but
when they went 2-1 down,
speaking,
they finally gave up and said, okay, we're going to finally ban out this pick. But in lane, Rookie did exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, right? And also, he was able to just pick the Nico, which, while it didn't work out super well for them across the course of the series, stylistically, Nico is kind of a counter to that Galio, just in that Galio really wants to go in. Galio's generally in a composition that wants to go in. Nico loves that. That is Nico's comfort zone. That is exactly where Nico wants to be every single game.
The thing I love about it as well is there's so many good matchups. It's such an early spiking champion off of its base damages, and even the items you build are so cheap that it just fits the way Rookie dominates lanes so well.
Yeah, we'll see if it's going to be something that does come through for Rookie here once we head towards the draft. And I am a little bit curious about the mid lane picks that we see today, because as we mentioned before, the Zoe obviously going to be very high priority. It has been kind of regardless of who's in the mid lane. Yeah. It's just such an incredibly strong pick. Galio as well might be banned alongside the Twist of Fate. And then we get into the realm of a lot of champions available. We've got things like the Syndra, things like the Orianna, other picks that can just shove the wave and find ways. And yeah, lane bullies that can come through like the AD Lucian. Maybe things like Lilia in the jungle that we've seen banned a lot, not really played a lot.
The thing that I'm wondering is, will LG have to ban the Lucian every game? Because that's a flex pick for IG. You know that both the Shine Rookie play this. Not really a Longxing champion on the opposite side.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, it's about time we find out as we head towards our first draft of the last series of the LPL. I'm going to kick it over to Hysterics and Dagda to take us through the action.
G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the casting desk to finalise the LPL for 2020 and for summer and our 4th seed at Worlds. I'm Hysterics, joined by Mr. Dagderson. I'm not going to give you a fancy name. I am going to say, though, you look fancy to bring your A game into this final day.
I know, I had to spruce up a little bit for coming onto the desk, especially joined by yourself. You always have to up the game.
Our chat looking at you thinking, damn, he's looking mighty fine. We're running very quickly into LGD and IG. Our 4th spot at Worlds, the experienced organisation, because Top Esports, JDG, Suning, have never been to Worlds. We're only going to get one organisation who've made the trip before.
Which is absolutely insane, and it will either be IG or LGD, but I mean, especially for IG, after coming off of the back of the Worlds 2018, getting towards that World Championship semi-finals last year as well, you'd expect that they would not be working their way through play-ins if they win today. You would have expected them to be moving on through the group stage.
Isn't it crazy that IG are in this position where, yeah, again, 2018, right? They came through, 2nd seed at Worlds, won the championship. 2019, IG got into regionals, 3-2 against JDG in the first round. The final round, it was a 3-2 versus Top Esports. They're in the exact same position where they just came off beating FPX. Now, looking to beat LGD in that same fashion. That's why I put a 3-2, by the way. I thought we're going to have history repeat itself. This is going to 5 games.
Still, though, on the opposite side, LGD looking to make it back for the first time in so many
5 years. Man.
This team has been on like a struggle for, as you said, 5 years, and now getting this group of veterans back in that maybe, just maybe, can push them towards that world stage again. It got them that 4th place in the summer split where they haven't hit for so long.
Yeah.
Now they just need that last little bit to get them across the line.
Isn't it funny? We saw TSM make Worlds, right?
I know.
On the other side of the world, over in the LCS. They're probably thinking, we want to see LGD once again. Be funny if they ended up getting drafted in the same group if LGD can win that today. But at the very least, remember, 4th seed at Worlds here for the LPL means play-ins, means teams like Legacy from the OPL. We saw Latin America representative picked up there, you know, VCS coming through.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, the lads already touched on it, but could you imagine getting into your very first game? You're like, you just made it to Worlds. You're full of gusto, ready to go, and you're like, oh God, I'm against Shie, Peanut, the Shy, Rookie. I'm like, well, needs to be a story to write home about.
And at least we get into pick and ban. Thank you for waiting with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally here for our very last series to begin. LGD on blue, IG on red, as you can see. And they talked about this on desk a little bit. There's key bans that IG need to take away from LGD. One with the Twist of Fate, the second with the Nidalee. They've ticked the boxes, and now we go into a pick ban.
And IG have certainly learned from their quarterfinals that they do need to ban these 2 champions, because we saw them left open quite a bit, which added to LGD's 3-0 scoreline. However, LGD going back to a fan favorite for Peanut with that Graves lock.
Remember, Ning plays this as well, so it's also a nice takeaway We might see an early jungle from IG. Remember that they do have a couple of flexes they can play on, as is the IG way. The Jhin first pick. A thing they're also talking about on desk is that, well, you know, we didn't see Jhin into the Ashe yesterday, but they want to take it since the Ashe is not there.
Yeah, the Ashe is gone, the Caitlyn is gone. In the LPL, Jhin does ride to prominence there, so maybe we'll see a Senna pick come in for Kramer in that bottom lane, but okay, the Shy is
Look how
like,
unhappy he is.
hey, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just slam it straight off the bat. But this is a huge amount of engage on the IG side of things, so I want to see what they're going to work with here, if they want to just add something like an Orianna into the mix here for Rookie, a strong dominant lane matchup, or go for this long-range poke with the Zoe and the Jhin that can be so difficult to deal with.
I just like that for Invictus Gaming, they found a recipe. You know, the Shah was playing things like the AD cannon and going downhill. He died 23 times within 3 games, and the Ornn was the answer to that at the very least. But for LGD, an AD carry they've loved throughout the regular season.
Now I want to see what Longshin goes for here, because I was going to wait and see if he wants to go towards something like the Camille in that top lane to go against the Ornn. We have seen Longshin start to bring that out, but when you're not able to guarantee something like the Galio, because it can be banned away by IG in this next side, they're not comfortable going for that straight off the bat. So opting in towards this Volibear, strong top laner, can bully the Ornn in a lot of circumstances, plus with that Ezreal on the bottom side, sets up Longshin and Peanut to play through this top lane.
Very, very true. On the other side, though, for the jungle, it's going to be Ning on the Lee Sin. Remember, we saw this in the 4th or 5th game, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, we saw in the 4th game, and he looked real damn good. Even though he got set behind in the early stages, it didn't matter. Ning was able to come back through strong lane pressure, giving him the opportunity to just take over this game.
You know, you're going to hear me a lot this game, Dagda. Instead of calling him Bruce Lee, it's going to be Ning Lee coming onto the Rift for game number 1 at the very least. Galio's going to be banned. We've got an ultra mid laner in LGD. Banning Rookie Zoe. His Orianna, you mentioned, is still open. Let's see if that
I imagine
goes
it'll be the Orianna next. Going towards that mid lane, just trying to get something easy for the Xie matchup. Xie and both Rookie can still go towards something like the Syndra, though. That still works quite well in both compositions. So we'll have to see if that Syndra either gets through or if it's taken off the board alongside the Orianna here. But LeBlanc is going to be put towards Xie, which I'm kind of surprised at. We haven't seen a huge amount of LeBlanc through Xie. He's only got 2 games of it so far and hasn't won anything with it either.
It's kind of funny, though, because both these mid laners are credited within the LPL. Xie's been to Worlds, Rookie's been to Worlds. Remember, Xie made the semi-finals on the WE roster that had 957 in 2017. So both very accredited, pay the respect and the tax of Rookie. Also paid with that Orianna final ban.
Yeah, it feels like, though, when we look at LGD's side, they very much set up for a composition that they're comfortable on. The lads talked about the Kramer tax. Well, this is the perfect champion where you can just funnel a bunch of resources into this Ezreal. You don't have to pay too much attention to him. He can just continue to farm up. And then they start to donate a lot of those turret plates and towers across the Kramer in that bottom side as well. So just giving him a little bit of time to ramp up. However, Rookie eyeing up this Azir. And now, I know people who don't watch the LPL are going to, okay, it's last second change, but we still see Rookie going towards this lane-dominant champion, the Syndra that we talked about. A lot of push power, a lot of opportunities to win that mid-jungle 2v2, and then work with Ning to move elsewhere on the map.
Give a lot of space means that Puff has a bit more safety as well with that Scatter the Weak. Meanwhile, though, LGD have other ideas with the Echo mid to run into that counter matchup. Things we've talked about quite a lot here so far in the league. And Game 1 has Juicy Draft. That's what I like. We call that JD. We've already made it to Worlds. What do we have in the bottom lane to partner up with the Ezreal is now what LGD are thinking.
I'd love to see the looks. I think in a lot of situations here, you're going to be able to play from pretty far back, trying to punish and push back against this Jhin in the bottom side of the map, but instead they want to unlock Mark from this bottom side, get this Leona out nice and early, and oftentimes when we see something like Kramer on this out in the bottom side, LGD will have Mark at level 4 roam through this mid lane and try and help set up Xie for success.
His Mark has been playing better and better, as the desk also talked about. Safety for the Jhin. I mean, he's going to have a front line through the Ornn, Ning with disrupting powers alongside Rookie, and the Tahm Kench side kind of solidifies the draft. This is a very standard draft. We've seen IG do this in Game 4 and 5 yesterday versus FPX, but a different tempo this time around, Dagda.
The Tahm Kench, though, does throw a wrench into the works here for LGD. They had the opportunity to go for some of these team fights with the likes of the Leona and this Volibear, setting up nicely for Xie. However, because that Tahm Kench, the assassination potential from Xie is pretty much out the window. So instead, I imagine LGD are going to be playing this kind of 1-3-1 stall, with IG looking to see if they can find these team fights, particularly around these early objectives.
Also note that for LGD, the dive there is very insane. Volibear does it best with an Echo, with a Leona. And the favorite part for me, you know, coming out of draft into this game one is the story. Now, a lot of fans will be tuning in thinking, well, only one of these teams go to Worlds, they go to play-ins, but IG are on a bit of a win streak here. Worlds 2018 granted, but 2019 they made it to the semi-finals as the final seed. They're trying to do that here again today, the 4th seed on the line, where LGD, it's been 5 long years. We remember the last time they were at Worlds. It did not look good. They're in the group with TSM. They didn't even make it out, Dagda. It was absolutely, let's just say, mediocre play. And as we enter Summoner's Rift, that roster of Acorn Flame, God v Imp, PYL, they're looking on saying, can they do it again? Can they break the curse? Or is IG's streak too strong? And their regional finals buff flying into Summoner's Rift as we enter the series, the final one of the LPL 2020 summer. There's no Jayos, you know why? The crowd, they're packing their bags as they get to the arena. We've got to go to Worlds.
It's the last game, our last series even of the LPL. So we're all out of oil. No more adding oil to this. But the fire's still burning deep in both LGD and IG, trying to see if they can push themselves forward to that world stage once more. When I look at these two teams, though, I definitely see IG, through Ning, looking towards these early objectives, like that Dragon on the bottom side, working with the push power that Puff should have on this bottom lane, and Rookie in this mid lane. When I look over at LGD, though, I feel like a lot of their attention is going to be towards this top side of the map. We already talked about the pressure Peanut can work with for Longxing in that top side, and also Mark roaming towards mid to help out Xie.
Yeah, Mark crucially going to be there on the Leona. That's something we will talk about throughout the series. All right, Invictus Gaming fans of the English side, you need to settle down. Things could be closer than they seem. But of course, IG, as of recently, have the fans basis that, you know, a lot of new fans, including myself, right? I wasn't around in 2015 to see LGD lose, but that was 5 years ago, Dagda, and they may not know that LGD did actually go to Worlds. Old organization in the LPL, IG, of course, older, but as of recently have really hit their strides. Junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, though. Pay attention, though, to the warding that's been put down top side by Invictus Gaming. Defensive towards their red side jungle, one in river as well, while Rookie and Xie are just throwing Qs at each other.
Nice job from Xie to trade back, though. Does have to use that Time Wander as much as possible to poke Rookie, but also push the wave as well. Because you can see Rookie, he's having a great time here. As Xie moves in to try and CS, he's going to be able to land these Dark Spheres. So you've got to be very careful as Xie that you're using your mana and your health efficiency.
Yeah, wait for that parallel convergence, the phase dive, get on top of Rookie, and then get that Z-Drive resonance to get out with the movement speed. As we look at bottom side, it's a level 2 first hit for Mark. And Kramer, good poke coming out as Puff takes the brunt of it. It is a time Kench, so you'll heal up eventually, but this is a nice start for the bottom lane of LGD.
And it's nice to see Kramer and Mark getting a little bit more aggressive, because as we looked in the regular split, they were players that wouldn't actually go for these aggressive trades, even if they hit the level 2 first. Now, though, Kramer and Mark are starting to ramp up, adding a couple of duo lane kills for themselves as well, and this is what I wanted to see from Kramer and Mark when I got these two on paper.
That's what I want to see in 2019, right? Kramer was such a driving force of LGD that we got into 2020, and the fact that he was mediocre with the new roster put together was kind of disappointing. He's ramped up back again to the form of last year, and we're kind of getting that remnants of a freak of freaks Kramer that I knew and loved as we're looking towards the mid lane. Peanut's going to help shove out this wave that's building for Rookie. Nice scout of the week to do some damage. Well, Rookie will be able to push this and get a good back timing as well.
Yeah, and just with Peanut, I thought he was going to help shove the wave a little bit harder there, try and stop Rookie from being able to walk back to lane, but looks like at least Xie will be able to shove this wave in and force that TP anyway.
But just note, there is a CS lead that's sizable in the mid lane, already building up. Rookie's going to burn the TP, as mentioned, and Dagda, Peanut's here once again to help shove. This just could be tax time for Peanut. Maybe he's a bit hungry, needs to feed his family.
But this is what we talked about. In these early stages, Mark loves to creep up with Peanut, get these aggressive invades off or set up through mid lane. And it looks like at the moment it's just to help secure this bottom scuttle crab, but expect this to be a story that we see a lot in this series as Mark gets unlocked from bottom.
It's kind of funny, right? Because Baolan and Ning will often link up as well. What we saw in the FPX series towards the end was exactly that. As smoke screen down, Ning got a really nice sonic wave. It is 3 versus 3s. The Deadly Flourish is dodged away from, crucially, because Peanut was quite low, and Ning was ready to go back on him with that double longsword advantage, so LGD back away.
It is interesting, though, how, as you talked about, for that bottom lane, unlocking the support is important on both sides. but it's how they use that, right? Because we see Mark working with Peanut to invade or go towards mid lane, whereas for Baolan it's been very much about grouping with Ning, going towards the Shy in the top lane or Rookie in the mid instead. So we'll have to see if Baolan, especially on this Tam Kench, if he's able to have as much pressure as Mark in these early stages. Maybe when he gets to level 6 and has access to that Abyssal Voyage, things will change up a bit.
You really want to rely on that if you're Puff, like, all right, Baolan, stay with me for a little bit. Jungle pathing still very important. Ning heading up towards the top side, because you could just see on your screen, Lungxing has pushed up. He's a little bit low on mana. And the Shy has him at his turret. So let's see what Ning does. Scuttle control is to Peanut, though, in this topside river.
I think what we're going to see Ning do is clear out this topside jungle, back around about the same time as Puff and Baolan, and then start to use the pressure that Puff and Baolan have bot side to go towards something like this dragon, because you want to be using the advantages you have from items of Puff in shoving that wave to set up for these early dragons.
But at the very least, we're seeing Mark link up with Peanut once again. Level 3 Leona, who only has tier 1 boots. As Peanut now spotted out in a ward, so Ning is getting ready, wants to take this Krug away. Secures it here with the Sonic Wave as Smoke Screen flies down. Peanut now has a Skirmishing Smite with a Longsword, while there's still only double Longsword for Ning, who's backing away. The Shy's not going to be out in time, and he has no mana.
Yeah, you do have Baolan, though, who has recalled, moving up towards his top side, so we'll be able to answer for this dive with multi-members here.
And Ornn can fit in his mouth, even though logically it doesn't make sense. 3 versus 3 in the top side. The Shy has regained some of his mana with the pot. Sonic Wave is taken. Peanut takes a tongue lash to the face, and Baolan says he tastes like a Mafia man as the flash burn immediately. Peanut gets knocked up on the backside, and Lungxing's ultimate is not going to hit it. You see Rookie tries to predict over the wall, but it doesn't matter anyway. Ning matches, and it's first blood while Invictus Gaming won a little bit more, but the Shy sees a wall while Baolan sees a flash. And Peanut manages to get out. IG still hungry, but they've already won the fight.
LGD needs to back away from that way faster. You already saw that there was 2 members there from IG. Rookie has that permanent shove in mid lane as well, so he gets to react first. And we're not done though.
Flash here with the Zenith Blade, parallel convergence, a bit shy though as she
GP as well.
Echo, and Lungxing, you mentioned, comes on in, smashes down. Ning getting low with the Ignite, but manages to get away with the TP matching. Shia though flashes in with the phase dive, but Scout of the Week was beautiful. He can't use his ulti until on top of Rookie, but that's not where you want to be. Rookie again. Highlight play while Baolan keeps the rest of the team busy. We're going to full on fight up in this top side because Baolan going to be the next target. A 1-for-1 trade in the end, but IG want a little bit more. Rookie has enough mana to follow this one, Dagda.
I can't believe we're still going. The Shy doesn't quite get the knock-up.
Doesn't
Ning's
play
still
much
hovering
on
on the side.
Yes, he does not. As he's got full health bar, he's got a full mana bar, no flash, wants to bring in the rest of LGD. Ning's trying to find his way in. The Zenith Blade connects onto Rookie. The Shy kind of thought, boys, are we doing this or not? As True Shot Barrage, will it kill anyone? Ning? Oh my lord.
No, it just gives him a free leash. It was just like, all right, you know what? Things got a bit funky up there. Let's just peace.
Good word for it.
Here's a little bit of a gift across to make things a little bit easier. But, I mean, look, IG get a great turnaround on that topside gank, which I thought they were just going to call it quits at that point, especially when Ning got out with a sliver of HP. Just take your victory and go. However, they go that little bit too aggressive, end up giving kills back over. When all is said and done, it's 2-2 apiece.
Yes, it is. And the kill started by IG, but ended by LGD. Good to see that they weren't just willing to take the loss and back away and probably play this out slower, right?
The biggest loser in this, though, is the Shy, because he's really struggling against this Volley Bear, and although they do get some of the turnaround pressure on towards LGD, he still lost a lot of gold and experience to that tower while all those shenanigans were going on.
And while we go across the board, just note that 80 carries stayed in their lane, so both level 6 now, while the supports match the roams and match the fight. And individual benefactors, Rookie does pick up a kill, so he gets the early Magic Pen, plus has 3 stacks on the Dark Steel with the Sapphire Crystal. And the Shy being Ornn, okay, you know, down a little bit, but still Ornn, while an early Phage for Lungxing with a dagger in hand feels pretty good. So I like that you pull out the CS advantage there. There is a small one brewing for Rookie in the mid lane. We have a Dragon to start the Rift off, as there always is. You know, he's very punctual. I'm curious as to who starts it, because Vision shared by both at the moment.
I honestly thought we'd see IG putting a little bit more pressure down towards this objective, as we talked about. Pushing mid, pushing bot, it's easy for Ning to sneak in there, but because of that play topside, Ning just hasn't had much of an opportunity to go for this objective. And now, with those recalls coming in, LGD are actually the ones that can start this up. And when we look at LGD's composition, they spike really hard in the mid game, just off of those 2 items. So the fact that they're already getting this ball rolling with these couple of early dragons bodes well when IG will be the later spiking composition.
At least when LGD have that Ezreal, that Echo. Even around the objective right now, Ning wants to stop the Herald and go for Lungxing up in the top lane. Now, Lungxing probably has an idea that this is being traded as Mark gets full vision. And Ning might just want to take the scuttle and bring the rest of the boys over and continue this one off.
This could still go a little bit sideways, though, so I'm holding my breath to see exactly how this one works out. There's
You might
the
be
stun.
saying that a lot this game. Xie going into ulti. No!
Whoa!
Just gets kicked in the face, then Baolan licks it.
That was so much damage that came out incredibly quickly between Baolan and Ning, just knowing exactly how much damage they can do. He doesn't even have time to use the ult to get back out, and with that kill, IG secured this rift.
He wanted to be preemptive, but Ning kind of just kicked straight away, and Baolan was there waiting as Peanut for the contest onto Rift Herald. We got more fighting, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we came for. Into the line onto Baolan, doesn't fully connect. Sonic Wave needs to get the smite down. Rift Herald will go over to IG while Call the Forge God doesn't find anyone, in fact, on the backside. It will go onto Markwire. It's a full-on fight, but IG, health bar disadvantage while Longxing flies on in. The bear smells honey, and it tastes so good as well. As Rookie in this pit wants to kite around, but Xie, with ultimate available, should have this one in the bag. Rookie has no ult himself, and even with the scout of the week, the phase dive at the ready while the Shy bellows breath to nobody. Teleport out. Rookie, will he die in time? No! Set drive residence and LGD match the IG tempo.
The TP from Xie was enough to turn that fight back around. The man advantage is no more for IG, and LGD do a great job of getting all that AoE damage down on the right targets.
And those spikes are going to be coming so damn quick now. 2 kills for Xie, who started the game off with some early deaths. And that bear got himself closer towards the Trinity Force. LGD have turret plating available too, and Baolan can't stop this one. Bit of more gold into Xie's pocket, and a great start for LGD to counteract.
Well, we're going to get a relook at Ning's play here, and just knowing their damage so well there, being able to combo that. But here's the replay where Xie's able to come back in. That Call of the Forge God not hitting onto Peanut was a bit of a mistake from the Shy. They're not able to burst out multi-members here on LGD quick enough. Longxing getting a heap of damage off as well, and Xie, because Rookie has no ultimate, is free to just play around him in this pit.
And I just love the fact that LGD were willing to take the risk, willing to take the fight that could have gone either way. Herald was picked up by IG. That's the only benefactor, is it gets a charge on the bottom side and gives some gold to Puff, who, alongside Kramer, has just been sitting and farming while all these shenanigans have been going on. So LGD versus Suning, remember, they kind of just laid down and accepted their fate. This time around versus IG, they've adapted well, and game 1 is a bloody start.
And LGD is a team that needs to get off to these early starts. They don't really have the best mid-game shot calling if they don't have a lead, and Ning wants to make sure they're not getting a lead.
Phase dive was used, parallel convergence is here for the stun, but Ning dodges away, walks out. Meanwhile, flash is here from Xie. Has the Chrono Break available, but the flash is going to be burnt instead. Xie now with no summoners.
And that means Xie has to be a little bit careful in this lane as well, because if you get another setup coming through from the likes of Ning with Rookie getting the stun, you are very much in danger of going down. LGD, though, realizing Ning has exited stage left, will move in towards the jungle. Puff will spot them out.
Got a bit of information. It's LGD who are trying to set up for more turret plating in the bottom side. And you can see while Ning is camping around mid looking for Rookie to accelerate, Peanut is kind of hovering around this bottom lane once again. Trying to get some more gold into Kramer. The Kramer tax, you know, paid through the laning phase itself. Hasn't really been given over yet, you know. Let's call turret platings like, what is it? GST. Do you have GST in Ireland?
I have no idea what GST is.
It's a government state tax.
Oh, no.
Right, so it's automatically put on 10% of everything in the goods in Australia.
Oh, yeah, we could just call it VAT, value-added tax.
But we don't see it. Everywhere, the price is there, and it's always put in. It's not like America where you pay on top. That's ridiculous. It's just there. And, you know, that's the GST, the turret plating lane. We're waiting for these kills to come across to Kramer with the Manamune already and the Cull stacking up with 40 kills left from ready.
And I think those early turret plates are the most interesting thing about LGD, because the Rift Tower control is actually abysmal, all split long. They have like the 3rd lowest objective control in general.
Oh, hang on. You ready for a volley bear solo kill? Ulti there. The Shy doesn't get the knockup. Call the Forge got flushed away from, but Lungxing, easy does it.
He's a big old bear in that top lane. Triforce finished, and the Shy feeling the pain. And this is just Longxing, who we always kind of looked at as like a lane. He's okay in lane. He's kind of the wall. It's not like he's going to lose too heavily, but he's not going to win overall. He's been looking absolutely great.
Full shot comes in. Ning just kicks him into a wall. Sonic Wave resonating strike. Ning the savior. Last turret shot doesn't take, but Mark is under the wall. Baolan spits him out to save his life as he sacrifices his own. Heals up. Ning takes an extra turret shot, and Baolan flashes away. Now, that was almost a goods and service tack, to reiterate my mistake before, but Kramer ends up going down.
That was a little bit dicey, I will definitely say. Ning, not expecting to have to tank that up. Puff does use the heal to keep him alive. But overall, still the play going in favor of IG. And with not really much else on the map that Peanut can try and respond with, it's actually just an IG win overall.
Rookie managing to get out from the parallel convergence. We've got so much blood on the Rift. And this is exactly how I wanted to start the series. I say that a lot, but the problem is that we have a lot of teams who are this heavy into skirmishing. Meanwhile, Peanut is going to be starting up the second Dragon and setting up for an Infernal or a Cloud Rift. If you're LGD, an Infernal Rift would be a blessing from above.
But either way, like, let's look at the timing here for LGD, right? Because they've just got 2 dragons. Look, I know it's a Cloud Soul, but either way, if you still look at the 4th dragon in, just how much power it brings, I mean, you still got, like, the 2 item spikes coming in really well. So as you have this Triforce into a Death Stance for the Volibear, you've almost got your 2 items complete on Ezreal, something like a Lich Bane coming in from the Echo. That's when you can fight for these dragons. You are so damn strong as LGD, whereas IG are still waiting for multiple items to come in on towards this crit 80 carry and towards the likes of the Shine, the top lane, who's been set so far behind.
Peanut setting up for mid. Parallel convergence here again, but the Scatter of the Weak keeps Sheer from getting near. Protobelt used. The wave's going to push in. Kramer now groups up, setting up for this Rift Herald. Everyone's going to be here. Puff's even moving up as well, while Mark and Peanut get deep vision. Setting up around this one. The Shy just needs not to die here, Dagger, I'd say, but Mark coming up could end that. Solar Flare put on down. He bellows rest in time, but there's the Zenith Blade, and the Shy at the start of the series named something more iconic as he goes 0-4.
At least it's not 1-10 like his Kennen yesterday.
Not yet.
Silver lining, silver lining.
It's 16 minutes. He's died 4 times in competitive game, Dagda. There is no silver lining here.
Look, the Shy, for all we give him, saying how good he is, how individually strong, all those solo kills. I think he's 3rd in the league right now with 21 solo kills. He has the most deaths in the LPL as well. So it's the Shy give it, the Shy take it, all right?
But Dagda, look, even though he's got more career deaths than kills, the thing is, the Shy just like, throughout every series at the moment, we're not calling him the best top laner because of things like this. He has high highs, but he has mighty low lows, and recently we've been seeing more of the low lows, and because of that, LGD get themselves a free Rift Herald. There's already a 1k gold lead for the team that's hitting these spikes you mentioned. Now with the Rift Herald, give it to one of your players with a bounty.
And don't forget, we're also talking about how LGD, they have the opportunity to play through these side lanes as well if they want, especially as like you've got the double TP, Xie being able to play very aggressive, and now you've got this massive Volibear in the top lane as well. So if they want to try and spread out on the map and then use these teleports to pick members of IG off, there is definitely that opportunity to go for it.
As we reset on the map, note that Rift Herald in the hands of Peanut. All right, Puff just going to take that one, of course. And Puff close towards that second item you mentioned. As going forward with the Arcane Shift. Nice from Kramer. Herald's going to be placed down as well, so there's no threat with Lungxing moving in. This mid turret could just be kaput.
Yeah, and Puff isn't running cleanse, so the likes of Mark off on the wings here is actually going to put a lot of threat on.
What happened in the bottom side? The ultimate was used by Xie, who teleported in. We're just getting a little picture-in-picture there. Ning came down to save the life of his mid laner.
I think it was just ult for ult when we look at Rookie and Xie, so I think it was just trading ults, which is kind of standard. I mean, whenever you see the Syndra ult come out as an Echo, that's when you hit your own OR button just to cancel out that damage and not really get caught out by any of the Syndra issues.
Right now, Echo in a side lane feels pretty good. Xie with a level advantage over Rookie. And Lungxing getting the highlight in the bottom of our screen. That is the gold difference over the Shy. He's 1,400 gold over this Ornn. And 7 CS a minute. Of course, CS is not the highlighting factor. The kills are, and the items that he's heading towards, with the Righteous Glory coming second.
And this means we are going to see LGD grouping for these fights, Xie looking for these flanks, because when you go with this build, you're not looking to try and 1v1 anyone. Definitely looking to amplify that speed on which the Volibear can enter these fights.
Can't wait for the flanking position of Xie. Lich Bane almost completed there. And his ability to take down turrets now exemplified as well. LGD managed to hold on to their mid lane turret, while IG just wants some gold back in their pocket.
And this is where LGD have looked strongest, is when they have a lead like this, that's where their mid-game shot calling from ahead is actually super strong, particularly with how Xie likes to move around the map, moving these side lanes into, or the waves into positions that are really favorable for LGD before grouping with the team. However, if they start to fall behind, that's where we can start to see the issues.
Are you ready for another dragon there, sir? Because LGD have just snuck them away 2 times in a row, but this time around, IG are resetting for this one.
And this is why I wanted to see IG play a little bit heavily. more heavily at least through that bot side of the map.
Yeah.
Because you had that pushing lane from Puff, you had the pushing lane from Rookie. It's very easy for Ning to use that double wave pressure to move in towards this dragon pit, get at least 1 to 2 dragons for himself. However, because he hasn't set that up, you can see this mid-game spike from LGD is now allowing them to just accumulate so many of these dragon objectives.
I mean, Ning needs a flank to get a pick, maybe find Xie or just one of those insane kicks that we've seen. Hovering on the outskirts of this fog of war, but deep vision set up by LGD, and it hasn't been cleansed. Cleared, that's the word. Cleansing vision sounds pretty naughty. As Rookie with the scout of the week once again, Ning ready to go in. Parallel convergences are a great zoning tool, as Peanut now in the pit waiting for the rest of LGD to show up. He quick draws out, and IG are actually in river with a bit of priority here.
But you do have Xie in a great position. He's in a flank, Langxing on another side. You just sandwich IG in the middle.
I told you I was looking forward to this. Peanut walks in easy still from Ning. Doesn't even get the smite down as FaZe dive with that parallel convergence. Means Ning gets low. Balan in a horrible position. The Shy call the Forge God to disengage. We have a damage graph Dagda. We're better than the LCK now. As Ning actually turns this fight around. The curtain call lined in, but Xie, you're right. He's such a busy boy. We'll die to Rookie in the end as the 3v3 is all we have left standing. Mark at half health. Puff has that crit available. The Deadly Flourish doesn't connect, but Mark is one shot away and sacrifices his life while LGD lost the fight.
Well, we say that we might be better at the LCK with our damage graph. IG say they're better than LGD when it comes to team fights. So well executed with the Shy, having this great call of the Forge God across multiple members, splitting out LGD and making it so difficult for them to try and manage this rustle and tussle of moving parts as Kramer is separated from the squad and can't deal the damage alongside Xie.
Because there are a lot of moving parts in that last fight, and I'm waiting for the replay purely because it was individual play after individual play. That's what we say with Invictus Gaming, but LGD already showing us they can do the same in this first game.
And this is where a great steal from Peanut. We call him the King of Thieves for a reason. Xie going in to get this aggressive play, but this is where it all starts to fall apart a little bit. Kramer and Peanut get caught on the far side of that call of the Forge God as Xie and Langxing go in. So IG deal with the front line first, deal with this assassin as well, and again, the Shy zoning this back line out. So although LGD are at a point in time where their item spikes are online, they actually just can't have an opportunity to deal the damage from Kramer and Peanut.
It was really nicely cut out from Puff and Rookie. And in the end as well, you know, Kramer dealing with the Shy, and I actually think a 0-4 on here on the Shy's that double scout of the week. Holy moly, Rookie. Sonic Wave connects. Peanut has to flash away. That was night level stuff coming from the mid laner of IG.
This is why we're battling all split long with who is actually the best mid laner in the LPL, Rookie or Knight. And Rookie was making a damn good case for himself, and you can see these plays that consistently come out from this mid laner. We even saw it yesterday as well, where his Zoe was immaculate.
LPL Syndra is at a new high, even though it is a meme to say that R is an outplay, as Puff using that false shot to help get the turret. Langxing can't defend, and IG with a bit more gold. Even after that fight, they're down, however, with 22 minutes on the clock and a 1,500 gold lead. LGD still consistent.
The big thing is, though, the Shy's about to hit that level 14, so he can start dishing out a couple of these Ornn items. We're starting to see Puff ramp up into these crit items as well. He'll be going for the Infinity Edge next here. So although we're nearly even when it comes to gold, IG are ahead in their composition where it starts to really shine.
Spellbinder now picked up for Rookie, 2.5 items for Puff. Crucially note that this is the third game in a row we've seen in 2 days of the Shy and Ornn, and he really likes Iceborne Gauntlet, no matter the composition.
I don't mind it too much in this situation, because if Xie is trying to take down the Shy, I mean, IG have already won the fight, because all that damage has been soaked up by the tank, so itemizing in towards a lot more armor does make sense here for the Shy, who has to tank up the likes of Kramer, Langxing, and Peanut upwards.
Just missed that Majora's Mask, as he's now got his 2 items. We are starting to upgrade across the board in the following levels. Meanwhile, Langxing with that Righteous Glory might have to use it soon because the next dragon's coming up. It is Soul for LGD. The Cloud Soul gonna lead to an early Elder, and LGD could play with that so easily. While the Baron also there as an optimal advantage that could be taken. And IG still skirmishing around for picks, trying to angle between vision.
They're trying to see if they can get Xie up towards his top side as well. Has that teleport available, and when you get into a situation where Xie can shove out these long waves, especially as he's got the blue now, you need to have Rookie respond, and that's when Xie can start to roam around the map, try and find these picks, and draw out these teleports from the IG side.
Yeah, I like the drawing out teleports, especially because Echo in a side lane with the Lich Bane. You have to pay that respect. The Shy goes up now, actually walks over Vision, so LGD know the Ornn was pathing. Xie can back away and just essentially reset for this next dragon.
The great news for IG, though, is that with Baolan on this Tam Kench, it becomes a little bit easier to deal with any sort of picks that are coming through, because ideally LGD would love to have it like a Solar Flare come in, get on towards Puff or Rookie, and then try and burst them out before the Shy can TP in, but it becomes a lot more difficult to do if Baolan is in the vicinity.
You see what I see? Ning is waiting. For a blind man, he's very perceptive, but that's what they say, your other senses heighten. You start becoming very aware, and he can hear LGD, the footsteps approaching as they group up in this choke. Mark first with Parallel Convergence backline, Solo play, they want to start fighting. Ning walking away, they're in a choke. That stun from Xie was beautiful! And now with the teleports in, LGD don't care. They're going to get a 3-man knock-up on the Shy, but I think it could be near dead until Rookie steps in with Scatter the Weak. The Unleashed Power still waiting to be used. LGD walk forward and Baolan suffers at the wrath. No one died because Xie angled it so nicely.
Xie played that so well, and throughout playoffs, it has been Xie the standout performer on LGD, and with Worlds on the line, Xie standing up again.
And here we go, straight to Baron with Baolan and only Rookie. He teleports up to the top side. Rookie still has ultis, he uses it over the wall, tries to kill Peanut, but he's healed up and that redemption coming in will help a little bit as well. Peanut walks on out and now continues the Baron.
Peanut has no smite though.
But look, over the wall, Xie has walked on in with the flash. Rookie comes in once again. One more auto needed. Lungxing survives though. Parallel Convergence dodged away from him. Rookie is trying to do the do-si-do with his toesy toes. As LGD pick up the Baron anyway. Rookie may survive, but LGD have the game.
The fact that LGD managed to get away from that with no one going down is incredible. Longxing needing to go over the wall because Peanut had no smite meant that they've had to push Rookie back in case some sort of steal came through. They do manage to get the Baron though. IG pick up the consolation prize in Dragon, but LGD can now start whacking away at these outer towers.
Xie is showing up to this series, man. It's great because we have two great mid laners and both of them playing out of their mind. A 3-man stun in the end, and Rookie has to flash.
And from this, LGD just tear them apart. And even when the Shy does come in, he does a fantastic job here. Damage across the board, it's alongside Rookie as well. And it actually does look a little bit dicey again. Solo laners from IG stepping up, but just not quite enough.
If Puff was alive, right? You know, maybe that Jin test or a couple more health bars.
Even a dancing grenade.
You know, Rookie, yeah, that's right. Rookie got the Scatter of the Week, that was nice, but Invictus Gaming lacked the rest of their damage, and LGD got away into the Baron, and now have a very significant lead in this game. Mark is angling to try and get somewhere in the mid lane, or even this bottom lane. They're grouping up. Do they know Rookie's there? Well, now they do, especially with the phase dive coming in once again. Mark predicts where he's going, and Rookie's dead for 45.
And this is what I wanted to see out of Mark. We've been so critical of him and his engages throughout the split, but Mark getting that flash into the Solar Flare allows Xie to tear down this bottom side. Now the rest of LGD can group mid, and with this numbers advantage, keep IG here and allow Xie to do work boss.
I feel like this is the first time in the LPL we've seen this Echo matchup look so favored towards him, even though we talk about how it works realistically. And more on that in a second. LGD want to fight once again. The Shy takes half health, and the one thing is right now, Xie can half health the Ornn without MR because of how fed he is.
And this is the thing. This isn't like it's any mid laner. It's Xie outperforming against Rookie. Now, obviously, this matchup does favor the Echo as you get past that level 6, but Xie has been doing an exceptional job of setting himself up for success. 14 stacks on that Magi Soul Stealer as well now. He is off to the races and does not want to stop.
And that third item's coming in fast with the needlessly large rod. It is needless because he already does enough damage, but it is going to be more explosive. And again, for someone like the Shy, he cannot really run into an Echo. Not that Xie is going to be anywhere near him anyway. The gold difference on your screen highlighted. 2,500 at least. We go past that because the observer's like, we don't have time. We're setting up for another fight.
Now, we have to look at the items that have been completed for IG, though. That Molten Edge finished for the Jhin is actually going to be quite a lot of damage added to Puff's inventory. So if Puff is able to stay safe in the back line, and we don't have these fantastic engages from Xie that just one-shot the AD carry, there is an opportunity for IG in these fights. Now we're seeing those late-game items come through.
Scared, though, because of how big the front line is in Langxing. He's got his Randuin's Omen. But importantly as well, Mark with the Stone Plate and the Zeke's Convergence. Also note that Kramer with the Death Stance is now going towards Immortal, so... Or at least, you know, the Armor Pen item. Rabadon's just picked up from Xie, though. And that's even bigger news, so...
That's the thing, though, with Langxing's build, he actually has no MR in his kit. So the likes of Rookie will be able to do a lot of damage to him as well, alongside the Shy's abilities too. So you do need to be quite careful with Langxing about who you actually end up engaging into, because just a combo between both the solo laners from IG can get that bear out of the way, and then you've got a very vulnerable backline behind him.
But the cool thing is, in the position LGD are in, I mean, all Langxing has to do is ult the turret, run forward, and the rest of LGD will do the work. And especially if he can continue disrupting like he's been doing and heading up the charges of these fights. Note that it is an 8k gold lead just about here at 30 minutes, and we are setting up for another one. I mentioned before the fight will be coming soon. About 1:20 until LGD have another opportunity at getting this Cloud Soul. But also importantly, the Baron timing works out really nicely to be right after it.
And I don't think we're going to see IG try and contest for this Dragon as well. The Cloud Soul is nice for LGD, especially for Xie, as he'll be able to get that ultimate up so damn often. But honestly, IG, it's not worth risking your life and the game right now to stop this soul going over.
Dagda, do you mind if I have a word? Just
okay,
over here,
okay,
a second over here. The problem is, it's not about logic, it's about IG. And IG, it doesn't matter what comp, they're going to fight. They're going to fight. Okay, we'll go back to the cast.
I should have checked my notes again before.
Dude, just look, all right? Let me lead the charge. Been here before, seen this show, you know. I
it
was
just
there
says
last
IG
year.
fighting in massive words. I don't know how I missed it, to be honest.
You know, it's...
That's why their hashtag is Go Invictus. They actually couldn't have IG fighting in it because it just triggers the team.
Yeah. Go Invictus also triggers them because they're like, we go anyway. What's the point? Folks, we are heading up for that Dragon. 20 seconds. I could be wrong. IG maybe thinking a little bit differently. At least Xie spotted in the top side. Could change that, but both these laners have teleporters. Ning is up here too. And IG, the rest of them are moving towards the bottom lane. Baolan sitting in base waiting for the Abyssal Voyage. He's going to walk straight on in as Peanut onto Rookie. And LGD now getting position over this Dragon.
IG trying to get control back, though. River is completely... Oh, hang on, the Shy.
And he takes a lot of damage, even from Kramer, who Arcane shifts forward. Now the Shy, that 0 and 10 buff incoming, I think, Dagda. Kramer's just solo killed him.
However, that does give IG the opportunity to get on towards this Dragon. They do steal it away with the man advantage, but LGD are on the hunt.
I mean, they could try and end things here. They've got a pushing top wave, and now they're going to fight as the parallel convergence in the back end. This is not good for IG, though, as everyone jumps on in. That diving shows a speciality. Xie gets kicked away. Meanwhile, Rookie's dealing with the bear and his honey, and Kramer's just ending the game. But I think the fight's done anyway, and LGD destroy IG again.
Expectations be damned. LGD looking clean in game number 1. Early game snowball into that mid to late game shot calling, and Kramer will close this one
The
out.
organization, the players, sick of not making it to Worlds. They want to go back to the stage, and game 1 is the path of recovery to breaking that curse. LGD Death Timers, you can see, well, talking about IG here, that IG are coming back up. But it won't matter. They'll walk forward. They'll hit that bare nexus. 2 more games to go for LGD to return to that stage.
LGD looking so good in game number 1. In particular, the mid lane matchup that we highlighted, Xie versus Rookie. It's Xie on this Echo, who's looking so superior to his opponent.
And it's crazy because I think Rookie had such a good game as well. But Xie just that much better. Xie that much more impactful. The parallel convergence setups that W into the backline of IG. There was nothing they could do. And, you know, game 1 for Invictus Gaming. Need I say more? The Shy 0 and 6 in the end. And it's only when he has 20 deaths or more in a series that he'll start ramping up. And Langxing solo killing was a good sign for the top lane battle at the very least.
I mean, across the board, the battle was going in favor of LGD. We didn't really see IG able to use the bot lane pressure that we were talking about. Peanut able to exploit the matchup between Longxing, even having Mark roam up to get that ball rolling for Xie. It really just felt like LGD were able to control a lot of this early game and set themselves up for success.
I mean, Kramer, the quiet achiever, while Xie is doing so much work, but in the back of these fights, really lining up. Peanut had a very good time.
Solo killed the Shy.
Yeah, well, hang on, you know. I
mean,
a lot of people have done that. That's the problem, Dagda. It's not really a compliment anymore, is it? I just love the damage graph on Rookie is so high and the rest of the team behind. Puff had a decent game, I will say. He was a Jin. He was a facilitator for someone like Rookie. And in some of those fights really started getting some of his damage output there. But you're right. You know, LGD found that 2-item window you were talking about and snowballed the rest of the game so easily with these fights we saw.
And it's kind of nuts to me that we saw, I mean, 2 of those solo lanes going over in towards like LGD favorite matchups when they were on blue side. Yep. I mean, red side, you would assume we would have saw a couple of those counter picks come through, but the Syndra locked in early for Rookie. You see Xie go towards the Echo, and that early lock-in of the Ornn just spelled disaster.
The Shy's not allowed counter picks anymore. No. We know he's not. He's put on Ornn duty for a reason. He's in timeout. The Shy is in timeout. What is the thing, sir?
I was going to say, like, he ended up with counter pick a lot during the regular split. I mean, most of them were going to Rookie. He had like a 60% counter pick rate, but either way, still getting one lane that's going in your favor would have been a lot better. And then even playing through the bot side of the map, which was that lane where you had success, it felt a bit strange for me from IG not being able to use Ning to play around that bot side.
Yeah, because I think Ning had a very good time in the early game. Like, he was very decisive. He was, what's the word? Actionable.
Yeah.
Proactive is the word. There we go. English first language, by the way. So Ning had a very proactive early game, but Peanut farming up, as we see on the Graves, gets in these fights and pretty much destroys it from there. I think for LGD, this is a great start. This is so much better than what we saw against Suning, and it's exciting because for Invictus Gaming, they showed a couple of cards as well. So, you know, saying 3-2 in this series feels really nice when we see what both teams put up against. But